This is on the call to be a preacher and the call to ministry. Most of what we find in 1 Timothy is guidelines for the minister, how he's supposed to live his life and how his life is supposed to be conducted. But it doesn't say much about the calling. This is where, if every preacher that you meet is going to say he has the calling on his life, but he usually has some elaborate story, and there's always a chance of slip and fall afterward. But what I want to know is, what constitutes the call? Is it a life that's been well lived, then in mid-teen years get the calling and go off to Bible college and then come back a preacher and start preaching at a church? Or they do have lay preachers which meet under ordaining councils and undergo certain tests to get their ordination credentials. Now, I don't see where this is fair to a congregation, and I don't see where it should actually be practiced as an occupation. Don't get me wrong. I mean, pastors make money. The church makes money. And the pastors are paid money from the church. So this seriously needs to be looked at and considered, because I've heard of high standards and yet these standards cannot be attained. So what standards are we talking about? Are we talking about somebody obeying the law and then pastor getting a speeding ticket and then losing his occupation? Are we talking about, I mean, obviously sexual misconduct, but I'm telling you, some people nitpick it so bad that I've heard of pastors losing their job over a speeding ticket. This doesn't sound very forgiving or scriptural. So how is this supposed to be interpreted? And the call from God, I mean, are we talking about, I mean, is there a certain period of time? I understand that they are supposed to be have deep and ardent piety, natural acquired abilities, ordination, but I mean, let's see. Yeah, apt to teach, but husband to one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, not given to wine, no striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, patient, not a brawler. I mean, we're talking about somebody not new in the faith and has been experienced, got some wisdom about them, but what constitutes the call? This should be every Christian you meet. I mean, it's something that we're all striving for. So what constitutes the call? How do you know that somebody is actually called from God to preach? So that's the main part of my question. I'm sure there's going to be varied responses, but let me know.